Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Nilika from Central University of Jammu. Today we are going to talk on the module Strategic Analysis from the paper Strategic Management. Learning objectives from this module would be to understand the various tools of strategic analysis. Also, enable you students to explain the concept of strategic analysis. Strategic management is the process of strategic decision making that sets the long-term direction for the organization. The main objective of strategic management is to achieve sustainable competitive advantage. There are various steps that are involved in the strategy process. These are strategic analysis, then after strategy development, and hereafter implementation of the strategy. A strategy students involves various tasks and activities oriented towards organization's objectives. The first and the foremost requirement of strategy planning is to define mission of an organization. That is, giving a direction to the organization. The same is to intimidate it to the employees, which defines the reason for the existence of organization. Tasks involved in corporate level strategic planning are defining the corporate mission. The foremost thing is to define the corporate mission. Hereafter, the next step is defining the overall business of the organization. After the business is defined, the environment is scanned. There are various tools that are used for environmental scanning. After environmental scanning is done, an internal appraisal of a firm is made, and hereafter the corporate objectives are set. Once setting of the corporate objectives is done, then the corporate strategy is formulated. The step of strategic analysis in strategic management process needs detailed study of both business environment for the development of the strategy. Strategic analysis. Strategic analysis is defined by Business World Dictionary as the process of developing a strategy for a business by researching the business and the environment in which it tends to operate. There are three steps to strategic analysis: industry analysis, company analysis, and matching the two environments, that is, internal and external environment of the business. Industry analysis. Students, two of the essential determinants of company's execution are the business environment in which the company works and the country in which it is located. Both of these elements are a part of organizations' outside surroundings. An organization does well in the light of the fact that their outside surroundings are greatly attractive. Others do ineffectively in light of the fact that their outside surroundings are hostile. When business environment allows market forces to work freely, in those cases, some companies make above normal profits. Above normal returns are possible due to imperfect competition characterized by relatively few competitors, numerous suppliers and buyers, asymmetric information, heterogeneous products, and barriers to entry. Industry analysis is a special tool that facilitates a company's complete understanding of position with respect to other companies that manufacture and produce same kind of products and services. Gaining the knowledge about other forces in industry is an important aspect of effective strategic planning. Industry level analysis gives power to small business enterprises or companies to determine the threats and opportunities faced by their businesses. Tools like Porter's Five Forces analysis and industry life cycle analysis are used at this stage. Students, these tools have already been discussed in detail in the earlier lessons. Company analysis. Company analysis or internal appraisal is examining of the internal environment of an organization to assess company's skills and resources. It identifies the strengths and weaknesses that affect the company's ability to achieve its goals. Internal appraisal is auditing of internal environment to identify strengths and weaknesses of an organization so as to match and control them to exploit the available opportunities in the industry. It identifies a company's capabilities and competence in specific areas as well that can be used to grab the opportunities available in the industry. An organization competency defines the performance of an organization. It is a dynamic and an ongoing activity. Therefore, internal environment analysis is all about understanding how to use the company's resources and capabilities to add value. Analysis of company's internal environment requires that the analyst evaluates the firm's resources and capabilities managers have created. Understanding how to manipulate the company's resources and capabilities is a key outcome managers look for when analyzing the internal environment. Therefore, internal environment of a company students helps the company create value by exploiting core competencies and meeting the standards of global competition. Matching the internal and external environment indicators. Dear students, the last and the most important stage of strategic management is matching the external and internal environment indicators to formulate strategies for above average rate of return and sustained competitive advantage. Tools of strategic analysis. Now, students, let us understand the various tools that business management companies used for strategic analysis. There are multiple tools and frameworks which can be used for strategic analysis. Some of the most common ones will be discussed hereafter. It is important to note that it does not mean that the tools in stage 1 and 2 are not required. These are tools which complement the analysis done in stage 1 and stage 2 of the strategic process. One of the most popular tools of strategic analysis is SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat analysis. This slide, students, represents a framework of SWOT analysis as proposed by Ireland and Hawkinson in 2012. SWOT analysis is a technique that deals with the internal and the external atmosphere of a business firm. It uses the simple information of the firm to recognize the both weaknesses and strengths of the business. It also aids the firm to identify the opportunities that may ascend and the threats which it is probable to face. Let us now understand what SWOT is actually about. SWOT indicates the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that a business organization faces as and when it is implementing the strategies. Strengths: those qualities that aids a business to achieve the organization's goal based on its mission and vision. These qualities are necessary for continued along with sustained success. Strengths can be based on resources, capabilities, or core competencies of the firm. Now, weaknesses: those qualities which inhibit a business from achieving the organization's goal based on its mission and vision. These qualities weaken the success and growth of the organization. Weaknesses are the areas where the organization is lacking, and these may be based on its resources, capabilities, or core competencies. This slide describes the other two parts of SWOT, that is, opportunities and threats. Opportunities are a result of externalities within which the organization functions. By capitalizing the opportunities in the environment, an organization can plan and implement strategies that allow it to develop into more profitable venture. Threats. Threats are a result of conditions in external environment which risk the dependability and profitability of the companies. When a threat arises, the stability and sustainability of an organization can be at risk. Tools of strategic analysis. One of the tools of strategic analysis is the TOS analysis. Roche in 2007 said that analysis of SWOT is a usually used tool that scans weaknesses and strengths of a product or a service industry from internal atmosphere and presents the threats and opportunities existing in the external atmosphere. TOS analysis, however, is an analysis where the 2 by 2 matrix is used to analyze how strengths can be used to exploit on opportunities and also to counter threats. Analysis of TOS is an active technique of merging strengths present in the internal atmosphere with the threats and opportunities lying in the external surroundings. Also, the weaknesses present in the internal atmosphere with threats and opportunities lying in the external surroundings, and hereafter to make a corporate strategy. Another tool of strategic analysis is TOS analysis. Roche in 2007 proposed another type of analysis which he called as TOS analysis. TOS analysis is an analysis where the 2 by 2 matrix is used to analyze how strengths can be used to exploit on opportunities and to counter threats. And hence, 4 different types of strategies are proposed. Those are strength opportunity strategies, strength threat strategies, weakness opportunity strategies, and weakness threat strategies. Now, let us understand, students, these different types of those strategies as described by Roch in 2007. Number one, let us first understand SO strategies, that is, strength opportunity strategies. These are the strategies that are based on strengths of an organization to best utilize or exploit the opportunities which a company faces. On the other hand, strength threat strategies are the ones which are based on strengths of an organization to best avoid the threats that a company faces. Weakness opportunity strategies. These are such strategies that enable an organization to work on weaknesses which nullify or will be bottlenecks in a company exploiting a particularly lucrative opportunity. And lastly, weakness threat strategies. Those are such strategies that will enable the organization to work on weaknesses which increase the magnitude of threats that are faced by the company. Tool of strategic analysis. The next tool that we are going to study, students, is the strategy diamond. Strategy, dear students, nowadays has become a blanket term which is often used everywhere, and there are various frameworks also for analyzing strategic situations. The firm's objectives and mission stand apart, and they direct the strategy and not itself formulate the strategy. The strategy diamond. The strategy diamond is also known as Hambrick model, proposed by Hambrick and Fredrickson in 2001. The strategy diamond focuses on the 5 elements of strategy. It says that a strategy has 5 elements and it needs to provide answers to 5 basic questions. Number one, where will we be active? That is the arena, the area where one will perform, depending upon its products, its channels, technologies, etc. The second element, it says, how will we get there? As in, what are the kind of vehicles we are going to use to reach to our destination? Could it be joint ventures? Could it be alliances? Could it be mergers? Could it be acquisitions? The third element that the strategy diamond talks about is how. How will we win in the marketplace? And these, it says, are the differentiators. And those differentiators could be in forms of low cost, premium, pricing, etc. Next is what. What will be our speed and sequence of moves, as in the staging and pacing. And last element of the strategy diamond is how will we obtain our returns. That is the economic logic. An analysis of all these 5 elements, students, is required to frame a good strategy for sustained competitive advantage and above average rate of return. Let us now explain the 5 elements of strategy diamond in detail. The first element, arena, refers to the areas where the firm will be present and should include specific things like product categories, geographic areas, market segments, and main technologies, as well as the value-adding stages. For example, product design, servicing, manufacturing, distribution, selling, the business needs to implement. Second, vehicles. After deciding the arenas, The strategists had to decide the means to get into specific arenas chosen, like the geographic segment, product category, etc. These vehicles are extremely important and should not be considered as an after-decision implementation detail. The various vehicles available to a firm can be internal development, licensing, franchising, joint ventures, acquisitions, etc. Third element, differentiators. Along with the arena and vehicles, a firm must also specify the way it will win in the marketplace and it will get the customers. The various differentiators of a firm can be image, customization, price, product styling, product reliability, or after sales services. Now students, the next element in the diamond strategy is staging. After the above decisions, the firm has to make a decision regarding the speed of execution and the sequence of key steps to be implemented. Such decisions about staging can be affected by a number of factors. Accessibility to various resources like funding, human resources, etc. Urgency to implement the decision at hand. Credibility, pursuit of early wins, etc. The fifth element is the economic logic. At the core of any strategic decision, students, is how a firm will generate profits and also profits which are above the firm's cost of capital. The various economic logic can be lower cost through scale advantages, lower cost through replication and scope advantages, premium price due to unparalleled service, premium price due to proprietary product features. Tools of strategic analysis. The next tool of strategic analysis is the BCG matrix. One of the strategic analysis techniques to be developed was by the Boston Consulting Group, and the matrix later on came to be known as the BCG matrix. Diversification of a company usually means that a company ends up with multiple product lines and a range of products that it deals in. For ease of management purpose, these range of products and product lines are grouped together to form something which is referred to as strategic business unit of a company. The main characteristic of an SBU is that it is under the umbrella of a conglomerate and therefore there is mobility in terms of resources from one SBU to another. The common pool of resources means that there is always a paucity of resources and unlimited demand in terms of SBU requirements for what they want to achieve. The conglomerate has to divide the limited resources across the SBU in such a manner that good opportunities are exploited and strong threats are overcome. Also, none of the SBU suffer because of lack of resources. The BCG solves this problem on basis of matching between external and internal performance of a SBU. Tools of strategic analysis. The next tool of strategic analysis that we are going to understand is the BCG matrix, also known as growth share matrix. One of the first strategic analysis to be developed was by the Boston Consulting Group, and this matrix later came to be known as the BCG matrix. Diversification of a company usually means that a company ends up with multiple product lines and range of products that it deals in. For ease of management purposes, the range of products and product lines are grouped together to form something which is referred to as a strategic business unit of a company. The BCG matrix graphically portrays differences among divisions of a firm in terms of relative market share, position, and industry growth rate. It is used to categorize various businesses in a firm's portfolio based on market share and market growth. A BCG matrix consists of 2 by 2 matrix with market share on horizontal axis and market growth on a vertical axis. It has been developed to help in the process of strategic analysis and resource allocation. Let us now understand each quadrant of the BCG matrix one by one. The first quadrant of BCG matrix is called as the stars. This category of the SBUs refer to the SBUs which enjoy high market shares and a high growth. This means that the companies not only are doing very well in terms of profitability, but the industry is also high in its growth stage of life cycle. The business unit, which are in this category of BCG, usually have a very high rate of profitability, and the company wants to keep exploiting the rate of profitability. Therefore, this category of BCG includes SBU in which a company is motivated to invest into. Cash generated from these business units is reinvested in the business, and further cash is also redirected from cash cows to stars. Usually, the business units which fall in a particular category of BCG matrix are in the growing stage of product life cycle. A demand decreases and additional investments need to be stopped. And organization? Question marks. The next quadrant that we're going to study in the BCG matrix is known as the question marks. This category of SBU students is the one where the strategic business unit is experiencing low market share, but it is in an industry which is growing at an exponential rate. Therefore, if a company can increase the strengths of these SBUs and decrease the weaknesses of the SBUs, the probability that the SBU would be making huge profits becomes high. It is this logic that the exporter and the BCG is named as the question mark. This refers to SBUs which have a capacity of becoming either star performer or simply liabilities for the business. Cash cows. Students, the third quadrant of BCG matrix refers to SBUs which have enjoyed exceptional success in the market. However, because of external environment reasons like availability of a stronger substitute product or changes in the customer demand, the product sales have started stagnating. However, the unit is still doing well in terms of profitability, but the future of the SBU due to external reasons is grim. Therefore, even if the business tries to invest into these business units, the demand is just not there. The customer loyalty that the SBU generated during its star phase is helping it make profits. Therefore, as a policy, the profits generated from the business unit are redirected to stars and question mark types of SBUs. Dogs. The fourth and last quadrant is the one where the SBU is neither enjoying market share nor the market growth. That is, the company's portfolio of weaknesses is more than that of its strengths, and even if the company is able to turn it around, the investment would be to no end because the industry is in declining phase of life cycle. Therefore, as their expected growth is very low, it is advisable to them to move out from that business. The next tool of strategic analysis is General Electric's stoplight matrix. Based on the fundamentals of portfolio analysis, another matrix which helps in strategy formulation is referred to as General Electric stoplight matrix. This matrix helps to allocate resources and has two dimensions: business strength, which tells how strong a firm is compared to its competitors, and the other is industry attractiveness, which tells attractiveness and potential of the market. It is a 3 by 3 matrix with industry attractiveness in vertical axis and strengths of business in horizontal axis. It is similar to a BCG matrix, or we can also say it is an upgraded version of the BCG matrix. This matrix gives an idea or guide business to whether they have to invest, hold, or divest depending upon the attractiveness and strength of businesses. For example, when attractiveness is high and strength is strong, then company needs to invest. And if attractiveness is low and strength is weak, then the company needs to divest. Tools of strategic analysis. Balanced scorecard. Researchers are of the opinion that if a business activity can be expressed in numbers, then it can be improved. And if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. This thought was the basis of balanced scorecard. Balanced scorecard opines that if companies were to improve the management of their intangible assets, they had to integrate the measurement of intangible assets into their management systems. It is a strategic analysis tool that is used in industry, government, or any non-profit organization in the world to align business tasks to vision and strategy adopted by the organization. Dr. Robert Kaplan and Dr. David Norton were the propounder and the originator of the balanced scorecard as a performance measurement framework that gives a more balanced view to the managers by adding strategic, non-financial aspect to the traditional financial metric. The measurement in balanced scorecard generally includes the following category of performance: financial performance, which deals with the revenue earnings, returns on capital, and cash flow. Customer value performance. This deals with the market share, customer satisfaction measures, and customer loyalty. Internal business process performance, which has productivity rates, quality measures, and timeliness. Innovation performance, which deals with percentage of revenue from new products, employee suggestions, and rate of improvement index. Employee performance, which consists of morale, knowledge, turnover, and use of best demonstrated practices. Tools of strategic analysis. The next tool of strategic analysis is the balanced scorecard. Researchers are of the opinion that if a business activity can be expressed in numbers, then it can be improved. And if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. This thought was the basis of balanced scorecard. Balanced score says that if a companies were to improve the management of their intangible assets, they had to integrate the measurement of intangible assets into their management systems. The measurement in a balanced scorecard generally includes the following category of performance: financial performance, which deals with the revenue, earnings, returns on capital, and cash flow; customer value performance, which deals with the market share, customer satisfaction measures, and customer loyalty; internal business process performance, which has productivity rates, quality measures, and timeliness; innovation performance, which deals with percentage of revenue from new products, employee suggestions, and rate of improvement index; employee performance, which consists of morale, knowledge, turnover, and use of best demonstrated practices. Proposed by Dr. Robert Kaplan and Dr. David Norton, Balanced Scorecard sees the organization in four ways: the learning and growth perspective, the business process perspective, the customer's perspective, the financial perspective. So, students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. Strategic analysis is defined by Business World Dictionary as the process of developing strategy for a business by researching the business and the environment in which it operates. There are three steps to strategic analysis: industry analysis, company analysis, and matching both the internal and the external environments of the company. Industry analysis is a special tool that facilitates a company's complete understanding of the position with respect to other companies that manufacture and produce same kind of products and services. Gaining the knowledge about forces in an industry is an important aspect of effective strategic planning. Company analysis or internal appraisal is examining of the internal environment of organization to assess company's skills and resources. It identifies the strengths and weaknesses that affect the company's abilities to achieve its goals. Internal appraisal is auditing of internal environment to identify strengths and weaknesses of an organization so as to match and control them to exploit the available opportunities in the industry. The last and the most important stage of strategic management is matching the external and the internal environment indicators to formulate strategies for above average rate of return and sustained competitive advantage. There are multiple tools and frameworks that we've studied which can be used for strategic analysis. They may be SWOT analysis, TOS analysis, Hambrick's diamond model, balanced scorecard, and the classic tools like BCG and GE matrices. The current lesson discusses all of these tools in detail. Thank you.